We are back with another video, and today we are discussing Honkai Star Rail because I have some positive, I have some concerns, I have some negatives. I'm going through the mix of the emotions, and I want to talk about their new endgame. So Honkai Star Rail just dropped this earlier this morning. Sorry, I was working, so we are a little late. But it says new challenging game mode previews. So when I first saw this, the first thing I thought of was Stygian Onslaught, to be very transparent with you. 'Cause that's like pretty much what it is in like layman's terms. So it says, if I can scroll down here, bam. So new challenge game modes preview for trailblazers looking to test their limits. A new trial stage is on the way. Anomaly Arbitration. This is a permanent high difficulty mode expected to go live in version 3.6 and will receive regular content updates over time. Now, straight up off the bat, not even going further, the fact that they are adding content to the game in a permanent game mode that they plan on updating regularly is a positive. Just straight up, right? Like, I want to be as fair as possible here because I think there is some good stuff. I do. And I do think there's some negatives or what could be negative, right? So, big ups to them. Big up for them to actually adding something to the game because a lot of people are wanting more content, right? Once Trailblazers have achieved full star records in Stage 12 of MOC, Stage 4 of Pure Fiction, and Apocalyptic Shadow Difficulty 4, these can be completed in different versions. The new challenge mode will be unlocked. Prepare for a showdown against formidable foes, Kanchan. Them saying this off rip is why I think it's very similar to Stygian Onslaught. This is clearly their version of the true endgame mode. It is something where you need to be experienced enough, paid enough money, or be playing long enough to be able to conquer every other facet of the endgame before you're actually able to hop in, right? And so it's pretty clear cut that, well, you compare this to like another game mode, what is it going to be? It's Stygian Onslaught, right? And I'll show you why in a moment. Anomaly Arbitration consists of 3 trial stages and 1 final stage. Trailblazers must form 3 separate teams to take on trial stages, so you need 3 separate teams for those. After completing them, Trailblazers will be able to Avengers Assemble, any characters into a team to challenge the even more challenging final stage. Which is good. I like that. Like, you have to go through the first 3. Now, obviously, you're stuck by the confines of whatever the, buffs or debuffs, whatever the case may be. We'll go over that in a moment. But in the final stage, you could do whatever. Now, obviously, it depends on the mechanics and the boss, but in this gameplay, Trailblazers will have a chance to obtain special leveling items, limited avatar frames, redeemable cosmetic rewards, and more. Now, they didn't say Stellar Jades. And that's another reason why I think this game mode is going to be substantially harder than the other content. And now, before someone says, well, whales need to have something, I agree with you. But they also have something called money. So I just want to throw that out there. But there is nothing wrong, genuinely, with adding a game mode that is catered towards hardcore players that are whales, right? Because realistically speaking, this is why I don't buy constellations. Why would I sit there and purchase a constellation, a C6 Zany, a C6 Skirk, whatever the case may be? Well, I got nothing to use it against, right? Everything just dies in 2 seconds. So there's some genuine validity in saying, hey, we need to add this harder content. Now, like, I'm here for that. The problems with Stygian Onslaught was not the fact that the added hard content. The fact was they handled it poorly, where it's just HP inflated bosses with no real mechanics, locked behind elemental restrictions. Like, it's the same old stuff. There was nothing new about it except one boss added a shield, and the shield was just there for you to waste your energy. It was stupid, right? But so now this is a leak. Now take this with a grain of salt. And I'm taking this with a grain of salt as well, but I just want to present all the information out here before we dive deep into everything. Full rewards in the first 3 stages equals MOC 12 cleared in 1 cycle with all 3 teams meeting requirements. That's fucking insane. First 3 rewards equals MOC 12 cleared in 1 cycle. A 1 cycle MOC is fucking nuts, but okay. Full rewards in the boss stage, seasonal meta team with key 5-star characters. 0 cycle hidden boss resort, 0 cycle hidden reward in boss stage equals seasonal meta team, E2 S1 full team, highest difficulty in boss stage, 48 cost challenge, full Eidolon Light Cone investment. That means S6 R5. Hidden reward is a limited time avatar frame, which does not affect completionist players. Yeah, so now obviously, there's a different level of like reactions. You know, some people are just saying it's just completely whales, Leviathan. Other people are saying this leaker in particular is not really that meta reliant or like that really smart when it comes to the meta. No disrespect to the homie, I don't know them. So I'm not even really honing in on the fact that it's going to be E6, E2, whatever the case may be. Regardless, you're going to need some sort of constellations, most likely, for the ease of use, right? Same thing with Stygian Onslaught. I have friends who have C6 characters. They'll go in with 3 to 4 C6 characters on a boss, and they can't clear it in less than a minute to get the weapon skins, right? So it's we have to see their execution, right? Obviously, Hoyoverse has earned the distrust of their players. So like if someone were to be like, yeah, it's probably gonna be dog shit, I'm not gonna be mad at them, right? But I will see. I will reserve judgment until it's fully in game, but I am leaning more towards it's gonna be bad side. Now, one of the things that I find interesting about this though is they yes, they gave away a free 5-star, right? They gave free 5-star on Archer, although I heard there's some controversy to that as well, because heard people telling me, I don't know how true this is, you'll have to let me know, that you would need his light cone to make him like perform top tier or T0 unit. I don't really know. But they're doing this thing where they're now introducing a game mode when the game still has a fuck ton of problems, and it is going to be, based off of my analysis, what they even said here, it is going to be heavier reliant on money, right? Like, let's just be honest. There's very little skill expression in Honkai Star Rail. You purchase the character, you can't dodge, can't do anything. You could get RNG good stat rolls, but you can only do so much in the frame of like your actual actions, right? You could do a little bit of speed tuning here and there, but it comes down to how much fucking money have you spent. And now there's nothing wrong with giving them a game mode for the people to show off a little bit or have that. And the fact that they're not including Jades, I think is good. I think that's really, really good. But that also makes me a little nervous. Like, this game was about to be fucking ridiculous. But I guess to me, I could see why the community is a little upset with this. Well, it's like a mixed reaction because, I mean, listen, man, when you look at the game, let's just be honest. The DPS characters in MOC, these are all Amphorius characters. These are all Amphorius characters. T0, T0.5, T0, T0.5, right? Bobbin is still great. He came out right before Amphorius. Cypher, now this is a Trailblaze Remembrance. Amphorius. Now Silverwolf got buff, which is awesome. Ron May's obviously still goated. Aventurine's still good. Gallagher's amazing. But everything else is, you know, as you scroll down, you see it changes. And it's just like Acheron was the anniversary character just a year ago, and they're now at a T1 ranking, you know? Rappa and Fishue, whatever the fuck how you pronounce her name, we're in such a different spot just a year ago. The meta is so ever evolving and changing consistently that they're now asking you to have 3 teams. It's both vertical and horizontal investment. And I mean, listen, bro, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, obviously, you would have to have some sort of investment to even acquire this game mode, right? You have to clear all 4 of the end games. But it comes to a point where it's like, it does feel like they're just trying to milk and dime everyone, right? It's like, hey guys, here's this collab, you know, fucking spend the $200, get the light cone. By the way, here's Castris, here's Finon, and by the way, here's this new endgame mode that we're giving out where it's a 48% multiplier, you need S6 R5 characters, and it's like, you know, no, if you, like, the game mode is good to have in the game. It is good to have for people to have these options, but when the meta is just literally shifting to always preferring to the new character, what is this game mode going to look like? I don't know. I don't know. Like, depending on how these other floors are tailored, you know, with Stygian Onslaught, you have the floor where it's literally physically impossible if you don't have cryo. If you don't use cryo on that floor, you will not fucking progress. There's another floor where if you don't have pyro, it is nearly impossible to go through, right? And obviously Mavic is going to kill it on that floor. Skark is going to kill it on the cryo floor. And it's like, these conditions that they provide limit the team building aspect of it even more. So it's like, this is a game that has so many fucking characters, so many units. I mean, dude, fucking Firefly dropped down to T1.5 and tier 3. Although I don't think she's really great in pure fiction, but like, Jesus Christ, man. So I don't know. I don't know, and I'm seeing Brax get a lot of hate for what he's saying. New HSR Endgame mode announced requires 3 teams. We need more 4 stars or this is cooked for free-to-play players. Someone said free 5 stars over 4 stars easily by a mile. I think Brax is spot on here. They make well over $15 million per month. There's absolutely zero reason to not have both. And I agree. I agree. Like, I don't know why people are going to, and no disrespect to this homie, God bless him, why are we pretending like adding more 4 stars that can help mitigate? Let's say if you only have Sunday and you don't have Sparkle and you don't have Branya, maybe you could get a 4 star that is some sort of action advance. I mean, something like there needs to be a give and pull, right? And this game is adding more endgame instead of fixing the current modes. Look, I think adding endgame is fine. I think it's really good, honestly. It gives more people things to do, but the implementation, I think it's up in the air. Right, I am going to reserve judgment. I'm not going to say this is the biggest deal in the world. This could be the worst thing ever, because that would be disingenuous of me. Because they could implement it in a way where the 3 floors aren't as restricting, right? And maybe the final floor is something where you can have a little bit of creative freedom with your build crafting. But if it's a situation where you're going to need super break or you're going to need a specific type of team and you're confined to a couple 5 stars that are especially recent you don't have, well, it's cooked. And then what's the point of it, right? So I guess we'll have to see. Again, I'm trying to be as fair as possible and give leeway because I haven't seen anything. Like, there's no official leaks yet there. So if it goes bad, I'll shit on it. And if it's great, I'll give it its props, right? Because I think you should give props where props is due. And that's why I'm giving props in the fact that the idea of the game mode's not bad. But the implementation in Genshin's been dog shit, and it's actually getting worse in the next Stygian Onslaught. Let's see how they do here, right? So with that being said, let me know what you think. Mwah, I love you. I'll see you in the next one.